Hey everyone. After diving into the history of another beloved animated show, it felt only right to return to a series centered around two unforgettable cats. They've changed their look, explored countless worlds, and always found their way back home with a lesson learned. But every playful kitten has a past, and every familiar piece of clay animation has an origin. You know their faces, you know their meows, but how well do you really know them? Today, we're looking back at the full journey of Mio and Mao, from their very first animated moments in the 1970s, through their vibrant revival in the 2000s, and all the way to their newest adventures for a modern generation. This is a story of classic stop motion artistry, timeless curiosity, and the simple magic that made us all say, la 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 la! Mio Mao is an Italian stop motion animated preschool series that follows two curious clay kittens, Mio, the red one, and Mao, the white one, as they explore a bright, ever changing garden made entirely of clay. Each 5-minute episode begins with the kittens emerging from their flower pot homes to discover something new, a strange animal, object, or mystery hidden just beyond their familiar surroundings. Through curiosity, teamwork, and gentle humor, they investigate and eventually befriend each new creature they meet, often helping it out of a tricky situation before playfully celebrating together. The show is completely nonverbal, relying on expressive sounds, body language, and the cheerful theme song Mio Mao La 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 to tell its stories. Its simple charm, colorful visuals, and focus on discovery make it a timeless favorite for babies and toddlers, encouraging observation, empathy, and imagination through visual storytelling. Over the years, Mio Mao has had three main seasons, the original 1974 series and two later revivals in the mid 2000s, totaling more than 80 short episodes across its run. Each season kept the same format of charming, wordless adventures that captured the hearts of young viewers around the world. But is that really all we know about this beloved show? Today, we're diving deeper to explore the full history of Mio Mao, from its clay beginnings to its modern revival. In 2024, Mio Mao celebrated its 50th anniversary, marking half a century since the original claymation series first aired in Italy. To honor this milestone, a brand new version titled Mio Mao Generation 2 was released, reimagining the beloved kittens with a fresh modern animation style while keeping the same heartwarming wordless storytelling that made the original a timeless classic. To understand how Mio Mao began, we have to go back in time to the early 1970s. The series was created by Italian animator Francesco Misseri, who envisioned a gentle, wordless world that could be understood by children everywhere, regardless of language. Misseri worked with his production company PMBB, bringing together a talented team of artists and stop-motion animators who used clay figures and handcrafted sets to create the show's charming, colorful universe. Their goal was simple, yet powerful, to spark curiosity, creativity, and joy through the expressive adventures of two little kittens exploring a world full of wonder. Before creating Mio Mao, Francesco Misseri had already made a name for himself in the world of animation with several imaginative and visually distinctive projects. He began his career in Italy during the 1960s, working on short films and commercials that showcased his love for visual storytelling and his skill in stop motion and clay animation. Misseri founded his own studio, PMBB, Pupazzi Misseri Broadcasting and Broadcasting, where he experimented with different animation techniques and developed a unique style centered around colorful, tactile worlds and characters full of life and emotion. During this period, he also contributed to other children's series and artistic projects that relied heavily on movement and expression rather than dialogue, setting the stage for his later creations. His early works reflected his philosophy that animation should speak universally, through visuals, rhythm, and emotion, something that would become the foundation of Mio Mao. By the time the 1970s arrived, Misseri's experience and innovative approach to stop-motion animation positioned him perfectly to create what would become one of Italy's most enduring preschool classics. Before Mio Mao, Francesco Misseri created several experimental and visually creative animated projects that showcased his passion for storytelling without words. One of his earliest works was La Pimpa, a charming stop-motion series about a red-spotted dog, which shared the same gentle tone and visual imagination later seen in Mio Mao. He also produced a variety of short films and animated commercials that featured playful animal characters, bright colors, and simple but expressive movements. These early works helped Misseri refine his clay animation technique and develop his unique approach to visual storytelling, using sound effects, music, and movement rather than dialogue. This laid the groundwork for the creation of Mio Mao, where his experience in stop motion and his focus on universal communication through imagery came together perfectly. Before Mio Mao, Francesco Misseri was already known for creating several innovative and artistic children's programs that helped define his animation style. Among his earlier works were Red and Blue, a charming series featuring two clay characters who interacted through playful, wordless scenarios, much like Mio and Mao would later do. He also created AEIOU, a visually inventive educational show that used animation to teach children about letters and sounds in a creative, nonverbal way. Other projects included The Magic Ball and various short films and commercials that explored simple, imaginative stories with expressive clay figures. These early series helped Misseri experiment with form, movement, and humor, ultimately shaping the foundation for Mio Mao's gentle, universal style of storytelling. According to the available sources, Francesco Misseri drew inspiration for Mio Mao from his earlier experiments in stop motion and other visual animation techniques. The key aspects of his inspiration were: his earlier work included non-verbal children's programs like Quaquao, using paper origami animation, and Rosoe Blue, clay-based two-block characters, which emphasized simple visuals, expressive movements, and minimal or no spoken language. He intentionally chose to use onomatopoeic sounds instead of actual dialogue, so that his shows could transcend language barriers and be universally understood by preschool children. The use of clay plastilina for characters and sets and the stop-motion technique were central to his creative approach. The texture, movement, and handmade quality of claymation figure prominently in Mio Mao. These elements, the nonverbal storytelling, the tactile clay animation, and the universal accessibility, shaped Misseri's vision for Mio Mao even before the series officially launched. Francesco Misseri created the two clay kittens, Mio and Mao, specifically for the original 1970s series as part of his desire to bring simple yet expressive characters to life through stop-motion animation. Each kitten was designed to embody curiosity, playfulness, and emotion without the need for dialogue, traits that young viewers could easily relate to. Mio, the red kitten, and Mao, the white kitten, were sculpted from soft clay, plastilina, allowing for flexible movement and expressive gestures in every frame. Their design emphasized smooth, rounded shapes and vibrant colors to make them visually appealing and easily distinguishable, while their personalities, often curious, sometimes cautious, but always friendly, captured the innocence of childhood exploration. The episode S1E10, Egg, is often considered the pilot for Mio Mao because it featured early sculpts of the cat characters and a slightly different animation format from what would later be used in the full series. The figures were rougher in texture, their movements more experimental, and the pacing had a looser, more exploratory tone. In this pilot, the story centers around Mio and Mao discovering a mysterious egg in their colorful clay world. Unlike later episodes, which followed a clear rhythm of discovery and friendship, this one focused more on curiosity and uncertainty. The two kittens take turns poking, sniffing, and rolling the egg, trying to figure out what it is. Eventually, it hatches into a strange creature that surprises them, leading to both confusion and laughter. The humor was subtler and less structured, giving the episode a more improvised feel. This format was later refined, resulting in the more polished, consistent storytelling style that defined the rest of the series. The pilot episode was met with positive feedback for its charm, creativity, and unique stop-motion animation style. Viewers and producers alike were impressed by the simplicity and expressiveness of the two clay kittens, Mio and Mao, and how the story communicated so much emotion without using dialogue. This success encouraged Francesco Misseri and his team to move forward with a full season of episodes, officially greenlit for production and released in 1974. The first season carried over the playful spirit of the pilot, but featured improved models, smoother animation, and a more consistent format that would go on to define the classic Mio Mao style. The first season of Mio Mao officially debuted in 1974 on Italy's Programma Nazionale, now Rai 1. Produced by PMBB, the series featured 26 short episodes, each about 5 minutes long. Every episode followed the two clay kittens, Mio and Mao, as they explored a colorful garden made entirely of clay, discovering and befriending new animals or objects. The show quickly became known for its lack of dialogue, relying instead on expressive movements, playful sound effects, and the iconic theme song, Mio Mao, La 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 La. Its gentle storytelling and imaginative visuals captured the attention of young viewers not only in Italy, but later worldwide. The animation, handcrafted frame by frame, reflected Francesco Misseri's signature claymation artistry. The first season established Mio Mao as a timeless preschool classic, paving the way for future remakes and international recognition. After the first season aired, Mio Mao quickly gained popularity among young audiences and parents alike for its charming simplicity and universal appeal. Its nonverbal storytelling allowed it to transcend language barriers, making it easy to broadcast internationally. The show became a hit not only in Italy, but also in several other countries across Europe and beyond. Preschool educators praised Mio Mao for encouraging curiosity, empathy, and problem-solving through visual learning. Its gentle tone and creative clay animation stood out from other children's programs of the time. The series developed a strong following on television and later on home media formats such as VHS, solidifying its place as a beloved classic in children's entertainment throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Season 2 of Mio Mao premiered on the UK's preschool block Milkshake on the 6th of September 2005 and ran until 3rd of March 2006. It consisted of 26 episodes, each continuing the show's format of short, dialogue-free adventures featuring the kitten siblings Mio and Mao in their colorful clay world. Season 2 of Mio Mao was released in 2005, over 3 decades after the original series first aired. It was co-produced by Misseri Studio and Channel 5's Milkshake in the United Kingdom, introducing the clay kittens to a brand new generation of preschoolers. The revival stayed faithful to the charm and structure of the 1970s version, keeping the 5-minute episode format, wordless storytelling, and playful theme song, but featured updated clay animation, brighter colors, and more detailed sets. Advances in stop-motion technology allowed for smoother motion and richer textures, while still preserving the handcrafted aesthetic that made the original so beloved. This season also introduced new animals and scenarios, expanding Mio and Mao's world beyond the garden from the original series. Despite the modern improvements, the spirit of curiosity, friendship, and gentle humor remained the same. Its success reaffirmed the timeless appeal of Mio Mao, leading to another follow-up series released in 2006-2007. After Season 2 premiered in 2005, Mio Mao experienced a significant resurgence in popularity. The series introduced the clay kittens to a new generation of viewers through its broadcasts on Milkshake in the UK and other international networks. Parents who had grown up with the original 1970s version appreciated the revival's faithfulness to the classic charm, while younger audiences were drawn to its updated animation and vivid colors. The show's gentle, dialogue-free style made it easy to localize worldwide, leading to renewed global distribution on television and home media. It also gained traction online in the years following its release, with clips and full episodes being shared across streaming platforms. This renewed success solidified Mio Mao's reputation as a timeless children's classic, beloved across multiple generations. Season 3 of Mio Mao premiered in 2006-2007, following the success of the 2005 revival. Like its predecessor, it was co-produced by Misseri Studio and Channel 5's Milkshake, continuing the collaboration that helped reintroduce the classic clay kittens to modern audiences. This season featured another 26 episodes, keeping the same 5-minute nonverbal storytelling format. However, the production team refined the animation even further. The clay figures were smoother and more expressive, and the sets became more elaborate, with enhanced lighting and color, to give the clay world a brighter, more immersive feel. While Season 2 re-established the core style of Mio Mao, Season 3 expanded the kitten's world with more complex environments and interactions. The episodes introduced a wider range of clay animals, each with distinct personalities and quirks that encouraged curiosity and problem-solving among young viewers. Despite these updates, the heart of the show remained unchanged. Mio and Mao continued to explore, discover, and make friends through play and cooperation. Season 3's polished visuals and timeless simplicity helped maintain the series' appeal well into the late 2000s, further solidifying its legacy as one of Francesco Misseri's most enduring creations. After Season 3 aired between 2006 and 2007, Mio Mao continued to enjoy steady popularity among preschool audiences around the world. The improved animation quality and charming, nonverbal storytelling helped the series maintain a fresh and modern feel while staying true to its classic roots. The show was broadcast across several international networks, including Milkshake in the UK and various children's channels throughout Europe, Asia, and Latin America. Its short, easy-to-follow episodes made it ideal for preschool programming blocks, and its universal, wordless format allowed it to reach children regardless of language or culture. Parents praised Season 3 for preserving the gentle, imaginative tone of the original series, while educators continued to recommend it for early learning due to its emphasis on curiosity, friendship, and emotional expression. Though it didn't receive the same widespread cultural recognition as mainstream animated shows of the time, Mio Mao maintained a devoted following, with reruns and online uploads keeping the show alive well into the 2010s. Throughout the 2010s, Mio Mao continued to air reruns on multiple children's television networks worldwide, ensuring that the beloved clay kittens remained a familiar sight to young viewers. In the United States, the series gained a new wave of recognition through its broadcasts on Baby First TV, where it became part of the network's lineup of calm educational programming for infants and toddlers. Internationally, reruns were also shown on Milkshake in the UK, Rai Yo-Yo in Italy, and various channels across Europe, Asia, and Latin America. The show's short, nonverbal format made it perfect for preschool schedules and accessible to children of any language background. As streaming began to grow, Mio Mao also found new life online through YouTube uploads and compilation videos, introducing the stop-motion classic to a younger, digital audience. These reruns and online appearances kept the series alive and well-loved throughout the decade, proving that its simple charm and gentle storytelling could stand the test of time. Up until the late 2010s, Mio Mao slowly began to fade from regular television schedules as newer preschool programs took its place on many networks. Channels like Baby First TV and Milkshake eventually reduced their reruns, marking the end of an era for the show's long-standing TV presence. However, Mio and Mao found a new home online. The series transitioned to YouTube, where its official channel began uploading restored episodes and compilations of all 3 seasons. This shift allowed the classic clay kittens to reach a global audience once again, this time through streaming instead of broadcast. For many children discovering it for the first time, YouTube became the main way to experience Mio Mao. Parents who grew up with the show shared it with their own kids, helping the series continue its legacy in the digital age. Despite disappearing from most television lineups, Mio Mao remained alive through its online presence, keeping its gentle charm accessible to viewers everywhere. As the 2020s rolled around, Mio Mao began to experience a quiet but heartfelt resurgence online. Fans who had grown up watching the clay kittens in the 1970s, 2000s, or on Baby First TV began sharing their nostalgia through fan art, edits, and tributes on platforms like Twitter, X, Instagram, and YouTube. The two curious kittens, Mio, the red one, and Mao, the white one, became symbols of childhood comfort and simplicity. Their innocent personalities, paired with the unforgettable Mio Mao La 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 theme song, sparked warm memories for many who had watched the show as children. Artists reimagined the duo in modern styles, digital art, and even 3D recreations, celebrating the charm of Francesco Misseri's claymation work. This growing online fandom helped preserve the show's legacy, introducing Mio and Mao to younger audiences while honoring the nostalgic magic that had defined them for generations. By 2024, Mio Mao reached a remarkable milestone, the 50th anniversary of its original debut in 1974. After decades of entertaining and inspiring audiences around the world, the two clay kittens were celebrated for their enduring charm and influence on preschool entertainment. Fans across different generations reflected on how Mio Mao had been a gentle part of their childhoods, from the original Italian broadcasts to the colorful 2000s revival and its later presence on Baby First TV and YouTube. The series' simplicity, heartwarming tone, and creative clay animation had left a lasting mark on early children's television. Online, the anniversary sparked a wave of nostalgia, with tributes, artwork, and posts honoring the show's legacy and Francesco Misseri's creative vision. Even after 50 years, Mio and Mao continued to represent curiosity, kindness, and discovery, values that had made them timeless companions for both children and adults alike. Production on a reboot of Mio Mao quietly began in 2023, as creators and producers looked for a way to honor the series' long legacy while introducing it to a new generation of viewers. With renewed interest sparked by online fandom, reruns on YouTube, and the upcoming 50th anniversary, the decision was made to bring Mio and Mao back in a fresh form. Early development focused on reimagining the kittens for a modern audience while preserving the core ideas that defined the original show: curiosity, gentle exploration, and nonverbal storytelling. Concept art, test animations, and promotional materials began circulating behind the scenes, signaling a shift from traditional clay stop motion to a more contemporary animated style. This marked the beginning of what would later become known as Mio Mao. Generation 2, setting the stage for the franchise's return after decades of history. Since creator Francesco Misseri passed away in 2009 at the age of 91, the team behind Mio Mao felt a strong responsibility to honor his vision while keeping the series alive for future generations. Misseri's work had left a lasting impact on children's animation through its simplicity, creativity, and universal, wordless storytelling. When plans for a reboot took shape, the goal was not to replace the original Mio Mao, but to continue its legacy. The creators aimed to preserve the heart of the series: curiosity, kindness, and playful discovery, while updating the presentation to reflect modern animation styles and viewing habits. By giving Mio and Mao a contemporary look and feel, the team hoped to introduce the iconic kittens to new audiences, ensuring that Misseri's beloved characters could continue inspiring children decades after their creation. As development on the reboot moved forward, the creative team made a bold decision to take Mio Mao in a completely new animation direction. Rather than returning to traditional clay stop motion, they partnered with an artificial 2D animation studio, using modern digital tools to reinterpret the two classic felines for a whole new generation of viewers. This approach allowed for brighter colors, smoother motion, and more expressive visuals, while still drawing inspiration from the simple shapes and personalities of the original clay characters. The goal was to translate the spirit of Mio and Mao into a format that felt familiar to today's preschool audiences, who are growing up with fast, clean, and digitally animated content. Alongside this visual shift, the reboot introduced child voice actors and human characters, marking a major change from the show's traditionally nonverbal format. These additions were designed to spice up the series by adding clearer emotional cues, light dialogue, and relatable reactions that modern children could connect with more easily. While the original relied solely on sound effects and movement, the new version blended voices, music, and animation to create a more contemporary viewing experience. Despite these changes, the creative team emphasized that the heart of Mio Mao remained intact. The themes of curiosity, discovery, and friendship were still central to every episode. By combining modern 2D animation, artificial production tools, and new vocal elements, the reboot aimed to extend the legacy of Mio and Mao, reimagining the beloved kittens in a way that reflects today's animation landscape while keeping their timeless charm alive. For the reboot, the production team chose two young child voice actors to bring Mio and Mao to life vocally for the first time. Mio's voice actor was selected for having an energetic, curious tone that matched Mio's adventurous personality, while Mao's voice actor had a softer, calmer delivery that reflected her thoughtful and caring nature. Rather than relying on full dialogue, the children recorded simple sounds, giggles, short phrases, and emotional reactions to stay true to the spirit of the original series. To enhance the cuteness and maintain a playful, animal-like quality, the team used a voice pitch synthesizer during post-production. This technology slightly raised and softened the children's voices, giving Mio and Mao a squeaky, kitten-like sound that felt expressive without being overwhelming. The synthesizer was carefully adjusted so the voices still sounded natural and warm, avoiding anything too robotic or artificial. In an interview, the two child voice actors shared that they didn't mind having their voices staged or synthesized for the reboot. They found it fun to hear how their voices were transformed and enjoyed being part of a modern take on a classic show. The production team emphasized that this process was done respectfully and creatively, ensuring the children were comfortable while helping Mio and Mao connect with a new generation of viewers. As early as the 2010s, alongside the growing healthy eating movement for children, there was also an increased public focus on child safety, building on practices that had already been in place for many years before. Media creators became more mindful of how children's content could influence behavior, especially regarding supervision, boundaries, and safety awareness. Around this time, a child safety researcher stated in an interview, "Over the years, there have been numerous children in risky situations that would leave them missing, and this is still happening today. Because of this, both children and pets should have an adult supervisor, guardian, or owner with them at all times." This statement sparked discussion online among longtime fans of Mio Mao, with many wondering where the supervision for Mio and Mao was in the original series, since the kittens were always shown alone, only interacting with the animals, objects, or characters they encountered. In response to these conversations, the team working on the reboot decided to introduce a major change, giving Mio and Mao actual owners. This decision was made to reflect modern safety standards in children's media while still preserving the kitten's sense of curiosity and exploration, grounding their adventures in a setting that felt more responsible and relatable to contemporary audiences. Since Mio and Mao were able to speak full, understandable sentences in the reboot, unlike the original claymation series, where they communicated only through playful gibberish and sounds, the producers made the decision to include more songs in the modern incarnation. In the original series, singing was extremely limited because any lyrics would have been difficult for audiences to understand when performed in a nonverbal, onomatopoeic style. With the reboot's use of actual voice actors, music became a natural and effective storytelling tool. Songs allowed Mio and Mao to clearly express emotions, explain situations, and reinforce lessons in a way that was accessible and engaging. This approach made the series easier to follow for modern preschoolers, while still appealing to older viewers who grew up with the original and could now experience the characters in a new way. By combining understandable dialogue with music, the reboot used singing as a bridge between generations, enhancing clarity, emotional connection, and educational value, while expanding on what had not been possible in the original nonverbal format. The modern version of the series also marked a major shift in where it was produced. Unlike the original incarnation, which was created and animated in Italy, the reboot was instead produced in Japan. This decision reflected the creative team's desire to embrace a new animation culture while still honoring the heart of the original series. By moving production to Japan, the reboot benefited from a strong tradition of expressive character animation, child-focused storytelling, and musical integration. Japanese studios were able to blend the charm of Mio and Mao's classic designs with smoother motion, brighter color palettes, and a more contemporary visual language that appealed to today's global preschool audience. Despite the change in country of origin, the production team was careful to preserve the spirit of the original Italian series, maintaining the gentle tone, curiosity-driven plots, and warmth that defined Mio and Mao, while allowing Japanese animation sensibilities to reinterpret the two felines for a new generation. Production for the reboot had actually been underway earlier than many people realized. The initial idea was brought up privately in 2022, when discussions first began about how Mio and Mao could return in a way that respected their legacy while adapting to modern audiences. During this early period, planning remained behind the scenes, focusing on concept development, visual tests, and how new technology could reinterpret the classic characters. It wasn't until late 2024 into early 2025 that the project entered its final stages, with most of the major creative and production work nearly complete. By that point, animation pipelines had been established, voice performances were largely finalized, music had been integrated, and the overall structure of the reboot had taken shape, signaling that the long-gestating revival of Mio and Mao was close to becoming a reality. The extended and private development process also caused several production delays, largely due to creative experimentation and shifts in direction, as the team worked to find the right balance between honoring the original series and reinventing it for a modern audience. New animation techniques, revisions to character behavior, and the addition of human characters and music required multiple reworks, slowing progress as ideas were refined and reassessed. These delays were not the result of a lack of interest, but rather a careful and deliberate effort to ensure the reboot met higher standards than initially expected. As a result, timelines were pushed back while the production team focused on quality, consistency, and making sure the modern version of Mio and Mao felt both familiar and fresh. On October 20th, 2025, after being announced through promotional material, Mio Mao Gen 2 officially premiered on NHK Educational TV in Japan, launching with a first season consisting of 28 total episodes. Alongside the show's relaunch, new plushies of both Mio and Mao were unveiled at a toy convention, marking the franchise's return to merchandising and celebrating the modern revival of the two beloved felines. Following its successful domestic broadcast, the first season of Mio Mao Gen 2 quickly gained strong attention, leading to the series being acquired for international distribution. Broadcasters recognized its gentle tone, expressive animation style, and the nostalgic appeal it held for older viewers, alongside its accessibility for a new generation of preschoolers. While the original NHK ETV broadcast featured a theme song specifically tailored for Japanese audiences, international distributors commissioned a new English theme song to better introduce the show's kawaii-like concept to Western markets. This version was intentionally calmer and softer in rhythm, designed to suit British and American preschool audiences and to help the series stand out on busy morning programming blocks such as Milkshake and Kids Street. For non-English speaking territories, an instrumental version of this new theme was used. This music and effects M&E track allowed the series to maintain a consistent global identity without relying on language-specific lyrics, keeping the focus on Mio and Mao's universally understandable communication style. This approach further highlighted how the modern series differs from the original 1970s claymation version, presenting the kittens as characters whose emotions and interactions translate naturally across cultures and languages. By December, 4 additional initiatives were introduced to further expand Mio Mao Gen 2 beyond television. The most prominent addition was a collection of exclusive stories. These were extended versions of Mio Mao episodes, retold in a comic book format with added scenes and pacing that made them feel like special DVD-only events. A total of 20 exclusive stories were released at once, positioned as premium companion material, alongside DVDs containing the actual televised episodes from the first season. Alongside the DVDs, the music from the series received a major rollout. This included full albums featuring all songs from Season 1, as well as single releases that packaged 3 selected songs from the complete collection. In addition, CDs of untelevised songs, music created for the show but not used in episodes, were released, giving fans a deeper look into the series' musical identity. Books also continued to be part of the franchise's expansion. These had already been introduced alongside the plushies when the series premiered, and by December, they were more widely circulated as part of the reboot's growing merchandise line, reinforcing the show's presence in early learning and bedtime routines. The final major addition released for Season 1 was Mio and Mao Meowtronics. These were interactive plush versions of Mio and Mao, featuring built-in electronic responses, allowing them to react with sounds and movements in a way similar to classic interactive toys like Furbies. This marked the most technologically advanced product tied to the reboot and served as a flagship item for the modern era of the franchise. Over the years, Mio and Mao have maintained a presence on YouTube through 2 official channels. The first, Mio Mao Official Channel, served as the primary digital home for the original series, hosting classic claymation episodes, compilations, and archival content that helped keep the 2 kittens visible as television reruns became less frequent. This channel played a major role in reintroducing Mio and Mao to new audiences throughout the 2010s, while also giving longtime fans a place to revisit the original series. Later, with the arrival of the reboot, a second channel titled Mio Mao Gen 2 Official was launched on YouTube in late November. This newer channel was created specifically to support the modern incarnation of the series, featuring Gen 2 episodes, songs, promotional clips, and reboot-focused content, clearly separating the legacy material from the new era, while allowing both versions of Mio and Mao to coexist on the platform. As of January 2026, it has been confirmed that back in December, a second season of Mio Mao Gen 2 entered production. The new season was originally scheduled to premiere on February 13th, but this plan was later changed. The release was pushed to a late March debut after it was discovered that the original air date conflicted with the release of the animated movie Goat, which shared the same date. To avoid competition and scheduling issues, the decision was made to delay the season slightly, allowing the second season of Gen 2 to launch under more favorable conditions. The new season of Mio Mao Gen 2 is expected to follow a format similar to the first season, featuring the same total of 28 episodes. Alongside the episodes, fans can also look forward to more exclusive stories, DVDs, song albums, and books, which are planned to be released gradually after the season premieres, continuing the expanded merchandise and media experience that accompanied the first season. In conclusion, Mio and Mao have proven to be timeless characters, successfully expanding from their 1970s claymation origins to the modern era through thoughtful updates, international reach, and new media formats. From the original stop-motion shorts that captured the curiosity and imagination of preschoolers, to the revival series in the 2000s, reruns on television, and official YouTube channels, the kittens have remained relevant across generations. The modern Gen 2 series has built on this legacy by introducing updated animation, voice actors, music, and expanded storytelling, while still preserving the heart of Francesco Misseri's creation. Alongside merchandise like plushies, books, CDs, and interactive Meowtronics, Mio and Mao have continued to inspire children worldwide, prove that simple, heartwarming storytelling can endure and even thrive over decades. bridging the gap between nostalgic fans and a whole new generation of viewers. If you have any nostalgic stories or memories about watching Mio and Mao from your childhood, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'd love to hear your experiences. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you can still find both official YouTube channels for the original series and Gen 2. Links to them are included in the description, so you can enjoy the kittens anytime.